have you taken a class before?
No,
No. Okay.
I didn't.
Okay. You haven't. Okay. So pretty much everybody knows the way that I work. Um, and as usual, attendance or being on time is one of the biggest things that I usually try everybody to start at time. So the class, and hopefully that won't change, because if, let me go ahead and share these. I'm going to share the Moodle, and if you're here is because you were able to access the Moodle. So you were able to at least look a little bit what the class that we have in hand is going to be about, okay? So as last semester, and what I told you from the beginning of this year in the previous class, fourth year is not like the previous years, okay? That you, uh, that is teacher-centered classes, okay? This is more student-centered class, meaning that you do most of the work, okay? And as always, I don't assign anything within the same week, okay? I assign something this week, and you have the whole week to develop it until next Monday, okay? We have classes, and that's what I was going to mention here in Mensaje de la Universidad. I placed these, which I'm going to read, and is addressed to the teachers and the students. Let me go ahead and make it bigger. Remember to please make your cameras available during the class. Okay. Thank you for appearing magically, everybody, except for. Okay, so it's addressed to all students and professors of the university. Hemos enviado tanto las organizaciones docentes como los horarios de grupo, haciendo la observación de que es probable que estos sufran cambios debido a que no se ha discutido en consejo académico una solicitud de reconsideración de días laborables de los docentes de tiempo parcial. Los horarios de grupo se enviarán a correo de coordinadores de la escuela para que las compartan con los grupos junto con esta circular. Pedimos disculpa y comprensión por las incomodidades que se les pueda causar. Okay? So I received my latest schedule yesterday evening. So I don't know if we're going to still have classes Mondays and Thursdays, or if they're going to change it. Okay. Also, one of you told me that they heard, okay, that we may go back to the university for classes at the university. I don't have a clue. As I told you before, you know more than me about what's going on in the university, okay? So, and as I have told you before, doing classes online is not the same as doing classes at the university, okay? Whoever tells you that it's the same thing, it is not, okay? So taking that into consideration, I do have the booklet that we're going to use. Remember that I usually work either with books or booklets that I develop myself throughout the years. And this is a booklet that I have and share it. Okay. That one that you have right there. Okay, it has everything that we're going to cover. Okay, I also found a book that is really good that it teaches how to teach each of the different four skills, okay, which I hadn't found a book like that before. So I may use it as a complementary book along with this booklet. Okay, you know that I usually share the booklet from the beginning, from the first day, but because I have no idea what is going to happen, I planned the whole thing. I planned the whole semester, and now I don't know. Okay, so you know that I don't like to make up things. I don't like to invent things. I like to give you the tools. And in order to give you the tools, I have to have a very good organization for that. With that said, we're going to cover today just the general information of the class. And I'm not going to make anything up. Okay, I'm not going to give an assignment today. Yay. And I'm not going to, and probably we will not have classes on Thursdays. Okay. And as last semester, when we have 2 classes, 2 days for classes, we only met once. Okay. I give you all the instructions and you work on your own. And especially because this semester you're going to do práctica profesional, as to what I heard, right? So you're going to have a lot of things in your hand. And moreover, I don't want to fill you up. I want to give you the tools for this class, but don't overcharge you. Okay? So I'm going to kind of sit down, think it over again, because I didn't know you were going to do práctica profesional. And kind of break it down a little bit more, the class. Okay? Make it a little easier for you and don't bombard you with a lot of um, material that is not necessary. Okay? So, yeah, give me a heart, but maybe half a heart, not a complete heart. Okay, so right here you have on your Moodle avisos. That's if you have any general questions, you can do it there. But as usual, go ahead and go over to the chat if you want to send me a question. Kerube, have you used Moodle before?
Yes, last semester.
Last semester. Okay, cool. So here also you have another section for notifications. If you will have questions that involve the whole group, you can place it in that spot. But if it's individually, go ahead and do it here. Okay? Don't send it to my email because in order to access Moodle, we don't go through our emails anymore. We go directly to this page. So I don't check my emails that often. Okay. But one thing that I repeat over and over again is deliver the things on time. Okay. Whenever something closes, it closes. Right, Nathaniel? And right, Wilberto? Okay. Nothing to the email. Okay. So here you have a welcome to this course. Okay. So on this class on teaching oral expression and listening skill as future educators, your role goes beyond sharing knowledge. You will also be guiding students in how to communicate effectively and understand others. Oral expression and active listening are at the heart of meaningful learning. collaboration, and professional growth. In this class, we will explore practical strategies, interactive activities, and classroom techniques that help foster confidence in speaking and attentive listening. By the end, you will have tools not only to develop these skills in your own practice, but also to inspire and strengthen them on your future students. So, oral and speaking, they are like opposite, okay? Because oral is the simplest. How many skills do we have when we teach English? Somebody.
Four.
Thank you, Arlene. We have four, and you have the classes divided in two and two. You have with me oral and listening, and you have with another professor reading and writing. Okay, you have the simplest one is listening, right? Because although you don't understand, you can still listen and fill in that empty bucket until you get enough information to do reading, then to do writing, and usually the last skill that we are proficiency on is speaking. Is the one that takes us the longest to acquire. Okay? Because there are so many reasons for that. Mainly because we don't like to speak in English. We want to be professors, but we don't want to speak. See how that works? And uh, we are afraid. We are afraid to be judged. But we should not be afraid if we want to produce a good pronunciation in fluency in a new language. How many of you put your hand up or your hand or your electronic hand? How many of you had a teacher that you don't understand anything he or she is saying in English and is an English teacher? Have you had one of those? Yes or no? Okay, we got Nathaniel. Be honest. I mean, I'm not gonna know the name of the teacher. I'm not a mind reader. Okay. And it might be at the university, or it might have been in high school, or maybe in a seminar that you went to. Okay. And why is that? Because that teacher never try to speak. Okay. And the more you speak, the more you get judged, the better you get. Remember, we learn from our mistakes. Okay. We don't learn when everything goes okay, right? How many times your mother or your father has told you, don't go out with that girl or that boy, and there you go. You go out with that person and chakate, right? And then you learn, okay? So that's the same in English. We learn from our mistakes, or in anything that we learn. We learn from our mistakes. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. Okay, here you have contact means. As I said, here is my email. You can still send me emails, but better from on the Moodle chat. Okay, if you have any questions regarding to anything that I said during the class or any task that you're doing, but don't ask me the last day or the day that you have to deliver. Okay, I will not answer. I will ignore you. I'm letting you know from now. I will ignore you if you ask me a question of the task, if it is to be delivered that same day. Okay, according to what we had planned, because they told us from last year that these classes of fourth year were going to be online, I still have that we have synchronous and asynchronous classes. Okay. So most likely, like last semester, I will introduce to you or present you a little bit what the topic is about, read the information of the task, let you make questions of the task, okay? And then you will proceed asynchronous the rest of the class, okay? So, okay, course contextualization. That one's too long to read, but uh, it talks about, I mean, you have to read it on your own. Okay, it's not that I'm not gonna read the whole thing right now, but go ahead and read it. And it kind of presents to you the fundamental, the components, the importance of the skills, listening and speaking. And when these two skills are well applied in class, we can perceive the following effects on the students. Okay, one, provide language proficiency. Okay. What happens if you are pronouncing a word incorrectly? Your student is going to go home and tell or do a task. And if the word is paper and you say paper, they're going to tell their parents that is a paper. Okay. And they're going to say, no, it's paper. And the student who's going to follow the instructions of the teacher, right? And what are you doing? You're doing a fossilization. You're making them and putting in their brain a word pronounced incorrectly. And to take that away from you, oof, it takes a long time. Okay? So, uh, when you teach, you improve the proficiency of the students. Okay. You also create active and meaningful learning. Okay. Because uh, we go from the basic skill from listening to the most advanced, which is speaking. Okay. And it's pretty much related on everything. Okay. Most of the tasks will use both skills. You can avoid sometimes writing and reading, but in a class, you have listening and speaking all the time, right? You're listening right now, I'm speaking. Am I writing? No. Am I reading? Yes. But sometimes we don't do that, okay? So it's one of the most active types of skills, those two. Okay. You get higher engagement and motivation. Okay. And that depends on how you develop your classes. Okay. Development of soft skills. Okay. Student enhanced collaboration, teamwork, and interpersonal communication when you use those two skills. Okay. Preparation for real life conversation. Okay. Eh, because I mean, when you're counter or when you meet a person and you're going a foreign, somebody that speaks English, what two skills are you going to use? Listening and speaking, right? You create also confident, okay? When the student storage enough information to produce. And when you get your students to speak a lot in a class, you reduce their anxiety. Okay. The more you speak in English, the less anxiety you get towards speaking English with someone. Okay. Better teacher student and peer interaction, because the teacher is not the center. The student is the center. And that's the way that it should be taught nowadays in every class. Of course, there are classes and there are classes, okay? As I said, everything has to be adapted according to the class that we have, okay? But when you have a environment where you get the students to speak a lot, you get a better interaction in the class and people speak. I'm not talking about online. I'm not talking about university. It depends. Okay. I'm talking about, remember what your focus students are, students that are in primary school and students in secondary school. Okay. And assessment becomes more authentic. Okay. If you have students that are part of the class and that they can speak and they are fluent, they want to participate a little bit more. Okay. Remember when you went to the social service at the beginning, the kids didn't want to speak, but later on, they wanted to speak a little bit more on that practice. And it is because you're giving them real situations, you're making them or helping to try to speak. Okay. So go ahead and read this. It gives you insight of the class. Mm, okay, general and specific competencies. The generals are the ones for every semester. And these, remember that these are the objectives for you, okay? Not the objective for your students, okay? And the specific competencies that you are going to acquire summarize the principal and characteristics of bottom-up and top-down process for listening comprehension in linguistic aspects in the English language. Another one is assess activities that facilitate listening comprehension of the meaning of the message conveyed in English with through top-down process based on listeners' prior knowledge. Evaluate activities of integrating the four skills for learning listening comprehension. Reflect on the importance of using appropriate strategies and teaching and techniques according to the two process of learning listening comprehension in English, bottom-up processing and top-down processing. And organize, select, and monitor the use of innovative strategies for teaching, speaking, and listening comprehension in English as a second language, and create short demonstration lessons using communicative techniques and strategies for learning English according to the level, age, context, topic, length, among others. Remember what we practiced last semester, that you have to adapt to a specific level. We're not going to do it that often, okay? But you're going to develop it, okay? How to adapt listening for one level and how to adapt that same listening for a different level. Topics of the semester. Here you have the whole index of the booklet. This section right here is pretty much the same that we use for material development. Remember the tree of teaching, the different levels of proficiency, okay? And also the only one that Meduca has the planning for every single level, okay? Although I know they have a new one, but they haven't shared it online. So because I don't teach there, we use that one. Okay. I have I have tried to get somebody from a high school to share with me the current objectives, but they say that they don't have it, that they usually give it to them just for the class that they have to teach. Okay, in Unit 2, Introduction to Listening, these are all uh, background knowledge, a theory. All of these topics that are here are theories related to the different types of listening strategies or listening models. And Unit 3, okay, we have the material or the background, the theory, and then the next unit, Unit 3, has an activity. So this is the practical part. We have a unit with theory, then we have a unit for practice. It's not like last semester that you did practice and you read the theory and right away you did the practice. No, in here we're going to cover the whole material or theory first, and then we're going to go to the activities that promote listening. Listening is divided in three aspects. Pre-listening, which are activities that you do before the actual activity that involves the listening. While listening are the activities that your student is going to do while they're listening to a video, to a recording, okay, or to you. And then we have post listening. These are activities that you do as a reinforcement of the activities that you did what with your students while they were listening. So you can look at this is like the preparation. This is the actual activity. And this is like the reinforcement. So listening is divided in three sections or should be done in three sections. Then we have Unit 4, Introduction to Speaking. So this is all the theory, okay, about speaking. And then Unit 5, Activities to Promote Speaking, okay? And you already have seen some of this because of material development, okay? For example, you'll need to unlock your iPhone first. Oops, sorry, my phone is crazy. Okay, so I think you did either picture description or picture narrative with me, right? I think I taught you that one in material development. So all the activities are materials, games, uh, activities that you can use with your student, brainstorming, okay? Either for speaking or for listening. For example, sing along, okay? That's an activity for listening. So you will see the different ones, okay? A little bit of the theory, and then don't worry, you're not going to do every single one. As always, I'm going to break it down in section randomly, and you get to do one, okay? Or two, okay? So this is everything we're going to cover for the semester. I have not shared the booklet. I will work on it. I will call the university and I will find out if we finally are online or if we have to go to the classrooms. And that will make the difference between the way that I'm teaching you the class. Okay? Because of course online you get to do your own video, share it with me, and that's it on your own. If we are in class, you have more work because you have to prepare it and then you will present it in class. Okay? So it depends. We'll see. Any questions so far? Kerube, you have a question because they never have a question. So if you have a question, please let me know. The others, they never talk.
You explain it well.
Yeah, well, you got contaminated by them. Okay. So, so those are the topics. Professor's commitment. Here are my commitments. Yeah, you can read those. I'm not going to talk too much today. Your commitments, I do. I'm going to talk about those. You can read mine, but I'll talk about yours. Okay. Active and constant participation in synchronous and asynchronous classes. Okay. Timely delivery of activities and assignment, no late deliveries. I do not accept things that are late. Compliance with virtual coexistence rules. The most important rule is to have your camera on. I know sometimes you're not at home and then you have your camera off, but if you're at home, try to have it on all the time. Okay. That way I feel that I'm talking to someone. Okay. A collaboration in teamwork, if applicable, reading and preparation of study material previous to class. If I let you know, please go ahead and read this for the next class. Try to do that. Your supposedly the day that you have your práctica profesional, it's on Wednesday, right? Or what day is it? Wednesday?
Yes,
Yeah,
teacher.
Wednesday. Okay. Yeah. So most likely we will not meet on Thursday. You'll be, and you already have one class before mine, and mine is the 2 last hours. So no, no, no. I know you are how you're going to be. Okay. Um, Responsible use of technological tools, no plagiarism will be tolerated. Remember, you have ChatGPT, you have Perplexity. Those are tools that we can use to help us. But at least read what you got from ChatGPT, from Perplexity, adapt it to your own style. Remember that mostly with everybody, I know how you write. And when you write like William Shakespeare or Jane Austen, then I know you are not you. Okay. Um, and remember, there are also tools to find out if you're using that. So avoid getting a 0. Okay. And remember, I'm not going to give you anything, pretty much everything will be present. Make a summary, read, and present. Okay? So, yeah, you can use it to help you summarize, but read the insights. Okay? You are learning. If you don't read, how are you going to learn? Open and timely communication. Don't leave questions for the same day of the delivery of the task. I already told you that I'm going to ignore you if you ask me the same day, so you know that you're going to be ignored. So I do connect until Saturdays, so you can do questions until Saturdays. Sundays, I do not connect. So I will ignore you Sundays and Mondays. So you know from ahead of time. Commitment to self-learning, go beyond what is given. That is the key for a future professor. Okay. As I told you, I got a book that I found out this weekend. I had a lot to do, but I like to find information or new information. I found a book that is very good on teaching the four skills. Uh, I'm going to introduce some additional readings that you may have, the mandatory readings as always, and then the complementary readings. Go ahead and do them because they are very interesting. Okay. And remember, all the skills are important, but sometimes we have to focus a little bit more on how to teach speaking, how to get somebody to speak, aside from telling them either you speak or you get a zero. Okay? So that's not a good uh, methodology to always rely on the grade. Okay? And what else do we have here? The evaluation system. Uh, you have the practices, research, workshop, and others. So anything that I assign is 35% any of your task. You will have two midterms, minimum, and for sure only two midterms. They will be practical midterms. They will not be theory. Remember, fourth year for me, not written exams. Okay, just practices. Okay, and that is 30%. And then you have the final exam, which will be either a folder or something practical as well. Okay, nothing of a test. Okay, 35%. And here you have this the rubric for your speeches. Whenever you have to do a presentation, go ahead and look at it because it tells you right there what you should do or what you shouldn't do. Okay. Remember one thing that you also have to keep in mind when you do recording, whenever you deliver a video with an explanation, one, make sure that your link opens. Okay. Copy it completely because if you miss one character, I will not be able to open it. Okay, and that will lead to a zero. Okay, and if you record yourself, make sure that I can hear you. Okay, Lester is not here, but he's always like in the deep, I don't know where, but his microphone is not working all the time, so it's kind of hard to hear his presentations. Okay, so make sure that your microphone works. Okay, so Kerube, since you're new, go ahead and read the rubric for these. Okay, the presentations will not be online, Kerube. The presentations will be recorded. Okay, and delivered on a video. Okay, because yeah, to avoid all the problems. I mean, we're lucky enough that it's sunny outside today because it rained in the morning, but usually we get rain. We don't have a connection, so to avoid all of those, you record it and I watch it. Okay, if there is something from someone that I want to share with the class, I will put it on. Okay, but most likely the videos will be only for me. Okay, so go ahead and read that rubric. Everybody else also. And here is how to upload PowerPoint presentations to YouTube. Why do I put YouTube? Because YouTube videos or Canvas links are not as heavy as the others. Okay? Whenever you record on PowerPoint with audio and just share that recording is too heavy. And remember, the university only has certain, it's not that much, so it will not open. Okay, so most of your videos, please go ahead and upload them on YouTube or do them in Canvas and share the link as you deliver it, either from YouTube or from Canvas. Okay? You can ask the rest of your classmates, they are a pro on that already. Okay, because that's the way that I usually work. And here you have the video on how to do that. And here you have a video also on how to record yourself on Canvas because you do the presentation of the information and then I have to see your face in a little circle, okay? So I can see that you're talking and not an AI, okay? Okay, so any questions as to the way that we're going to work? Kerube, the class is for you because everybody else never asks a question. Are we clear, Kerube?
Yes, we're clear.
Okay, okay. So
So only there are only half classes on Mondays.
only Mondays, yeah.
Mhm.
Uh,
Okay.
in case that anything happens, I will let you know on a
Okay.
Thursday if we have to reinforce something. But yes, I mean, and on Monday we have 4 hours, right, of classes. We don't even meet the 4 hours. Okay, I give you the guidelines, I give you the explanation of the material, and then I leave you the time for you to do it yourself. If you want to do it right away, you can go ahead and do the work, read the information, and be ready to deliver. Okay? Because to me, online classes are not these. Okay? Me talking, talking, talking. Nah.
Okay.
People fall asleep. I think Wilberto already fell asleep. Okay, so I'd rather give you a video, the information, you can read it, and the readings are not that long either. Okay, I do it in a more practical way. Okay, so if you know somebody from the class, you can ask them the way that I work, and you better say nice things about me. Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna work on the booklet. Um, and I'm going to put the booklet in sections. I'm not going to upload the whole booklet. I'm going to make it in sections as we go on the class, okay? And the assignments that I'm going to give you, okay? The practical parts, everybody has all the different activities, but I will be assigning the activities randomly to everybody, okay? So, uh, most likely I will put up as soon as I get an answer from the university, we go back to class. Okay. I don't know, Sir Kerin, it's not me. Okay. Have you heard anything if we're going back to the university or not?
No, teacher, I'm already listening to you.
Not you haven't heard anything. Okay. Okay. You can ask the
No.
coordinator. You can ask the coordinator and see what. Well, never mind. Don't ask. Okay. So, um, so this is just the introduction for today. I will put up sometime during the week the first unit. Okay, just put it up. If you want to take a look at it, that's fine. If not, you can wait for me to give you a little introduction about it. It will take longer, so it will not be like every week that we meet or every week that you have an assignment. It will be spread out. So most likely like 15 days. But that doesn't mean that you're going to do it the day on the 14th. Okay? You have, and this is a recommendation for you. How many classes do you have? 6, right? Okay. Remember that you're doing práctica profesional, which it means depending on the professor that you have, not the one that is supervising the práctica profesional, but your contact at the school where you're going to practice. Depending on that professor, if they're going to have you help with their planning, help with their grading, help with their actual teaching. So you're taking more than 6 classes because práctica profesional takes a lot of time. Okay, and you only have one day that you go to the school, right? Hopefully you get somebody that you only sit there and listen and help. But it depends on the person. Okay. Did the university got the professors for you or teachers for you, or you had to get them?
But what I've known is we provide like the name of the principal, and they're going to send a letter to let us know if we can do the
Oh,
practice
so
there.
you haven't even started. Okay. Okay. Don't worry. I won't be that hard. I will help you in my heart and help you in my class. Okay? So it doesn't get that hard. Okay? I'll give you the tools for it. I will not push you too much because this is the first year that they're doing práctica profesional in the middle of the classes, and that I have a different opinion on that. Okay? Okay, so that's it, guys. Uh, Remember, I have always a contact with Clarice or Surkerin, just in case that I have any problems with the connection for the class, either on online connection or internet or raining or I don't know, an ET coming. I mean, we have an ET coming on, when is it? On September. So anything that happens, I will let Clarice or Surkerin know in case there is a problem to connect with this class. Okay, I'm also going to make a link for Thursday, just in case that we have to meet on Thursdays, but there will be a specific, okay, the one that says Monday and the one that says Thursday. Just in case that by any chance we have to meet on Thursday, then you get on that one, okay? So if you're not in the group, go ahead and you should be in a group. So Kerube, get in their group, okay? Include her, please. I don't know if you have
Oh,
taken class. You're ready? You have taken
yeah.
class with
Yep.
them. So
I'm
I'm
already.
okay. So I'm the new one. Okay, I'm the new one with you. So, okay, guys, that's everything for now. I will solve and I will try to see what's going on. and get everything ready. So no connection with me, nothing with me this week. And I'll see you next Monday. Remember that if you cannot connect, I always record the class, so you will have it on the section of recording right over here at the end. Okay, so recording of online classes, I will paste this one there, so you can hear all the instructions and explanations for the classes. Okay, guys? So thank you very much for being here. You have a good night. And relax, don't stress out. If you have any problems along the way, let me know. Okay, if you get too hectic, you feel too stressed with the other classes, let me know. Okay, and you know that I'm here to try to help you achieve your goals. Okay, you'll have a good night, and I will see you next Monday. Okay,
Bye.
at 5:10, not 5:25. All right. Good night.
Bye, teacher. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
Professor.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
teacher. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Professor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Teacher.